All right, folks, let's get right back into it. It's hold on, let's go back to the let's hold on. Okay, yep. Okay, back to this when we got the ticket. Oh, we got the New Year's greeting 20,210,000 QP. And whatever that is. Okay. It's New Year's greeting special. Okay. It's the Twitter thing. So let's see what it is. Oh, that's a nice looking CE. New Year's greetings. Increase quick arm effectiveness by 8% for yourself. Huh. Begun on a quick servant. So that's not bad. Let's go ahead and get more Phoenix Feathers. You can never have enough of those things. Okay. Let's get back into it. Sorry, MHXX, you're not going to be part of this party. All right. Yeah, let's get a AoE archer out there. My best AoE archer, good old Ishtar. Let's do this. Okay, you say you learned something in your analysis, Holmes. Thanks to the remains of the automata we recovered earlier, I believe I have learned something. With Crown Prince Nez's help, I examined their inner workings and, yes, they look like me. Their quality, however, is most unfortunate. Their mechanisms only imitate my own. There is much degradation. It pales in comparison to great Taiye Shenren's famed work. The sage Taiye Shenren and his lotus spirit. So you think these soldiers use sage arts as a base instead of science? Even so, I suppose it is impressive that they work as well as they do with makeshift parts instead of jewels of the old sage world. The key problem we face is that centaur-like creature the enemy called Shan Yu. What did you make of the combat footage I showed you, Neza? Oh yes, this one is much more like I am than the clay dolls. I have not seen his interior, but I can say that much for certain. Many of his movements resemble my own style. Even though his form is so radically different from yours, I think those extra arms were bolted on later. His techniques still reflect a human-shaped body. If he had been made in that form to start, he would move much more naturally. And I see, a true martial arts perspective proves most illuminating here. To crib from Holmes, this is just a preliminary theory. But I think he was originally a humanoid patterned after my design, and that he became known as Shang Yu after many further modifications. In addition, we know that the other mechanical soldiers are much weaker thanks to their mechanisms made less complex. Prince's body was made with sage arts from the Shang dynasty, long lost before the age of Qin. However, if in this world Qin Shi Huang managed to recover and gain understanding of these arts, scientific progress could subsequently have evolved them into something wholly different from what they were in proper human history. That could also explain how the Emperor managed to become immortal here, and why this Lostbelt has such unusual technology. This is no time to admire their handiwork. We should be asking ourselves what they're doing. For some reason, they haven't made a move. They've just been monitoring us from their camp about 2 kilometers away. My guess is they're waiting for something. This sounds rather unnerving. For the moment, I've asked Miss Larder to take the servants and maids on standby. How dare they treat tiny Sanders' work with less respect than it is due. When next meet, I will show them the power of my fire-tipped spear. What the hell was that monster? I couldn't believe how strong he was. Yeah, it wasn't just some muzzle-headed dumbass either. See, strength's actually a double-edged sword. If you're faster and more skilled than a stronger opponent, then you can still kick his ass all up and down the yard. But that guy was, how do I put this? His eyes were as cold as ice, a far cry from the meaning of battlefield. They were the eyes of a oppressor if I've ever seen them. He must be defeated, no matter the cost. Yeah, he was freakish cool-headed, like he was just calmly assessing our every move. It felt like he was predicting exactly what we would do, what we needed to do to avoid every attack. Very creepy. It was well beyond martial arts. It was also strange that Prince of Lao Ling called him Shang Yu. If Qin Shi Huang really is still alive, I suppose it's not too strange that Shang Yu might be too, since they lived at the same time. Yeah, they might have been both been alive back then, but the thing we fought totally wasn't even human. For that matter, why would Shang Yu be a general working under the Kid Emperor? I mean, I only learned about this myself once I became a servant. But Shang Yu was a central figure in the rebellion that destroyed the Qin dynasty after Qin Shi Huang died, right? I heard he competed with Liu Bang, the guy who went on to create the Han dynasty for control of China. Okay, let's say he was always born to fight. Would someone like that bend the knee to serve Qin all meek and obedient? I'm afraid I've got even more bad news. There's a new army headed this way, not by rocket this time. If things are right, it looks like they're on a wheeled transport. More reinforcements from Xianyang, huh? Yep, and the fact that they're travel by land means that they aren't mechanical soldiers. This is a real flesh and blood army, led by an actual human general. Does this mean Akuta has been waiting to rendezvous with them? Probably. I guess they plan to end this by combining those armies and to absolutely crush us. If they overwhelm us with sheer numbers, we'll have no way of fighting back. This is certainly a rather dire predicament. We can't even run away. There's nowhere we can hide in this wide open field. Then we should make the first move ourselves. Are you mad, you fool? You're not here to formulate strategy, especially not without asking me. Besides, you just saw yourself how frighteningly strong that Shang Yu monster is. Attacking first would be far too reckless. We can always retreat from this Lostbelt if necessary. Oh wait, we'll never be cured if we do that. We have to find a way to hold our ground. But then again, that Shang Yu robot scares the hell out of me. What is he anyway? Some kind of living storm? I see our self-proclaimed commander is pretty rattled too. Yes, it might be reckless to go on the offensive now, but if we just wait around for the reinforcements to get here, we won't have a prayer. We should challenge that storm again, if nothing else, as a chance to chip away at the enemy's forces. You're always so calm and collected, Jin K. If you think making the first move is the way to go, then we might just have a chance. All right, let's go on the attack. But be warned, I'm going to be keeping an even closer eye on Solari's visuals than usual. Solari's vitals than usual. Remember, we didn't come to China just so you could burn yourself out. You'll need to be real careful. Hey, as long as we take care of our business before Solari gets worn out, then it's all good, right? Either way, if we just stand here and wait for their reinforcements, we'll run out of options entirely. I say we strike now while the rebellion is hot. All right, let's do our best, Master. Folkfo! What? They've gone on the attack? That's right. Master Chaldea and the servants are charging in like fools. This is perfect. Not even the Emperor could stop us from engaging invaders. Are you sure about this? We could still remain on the defensive unit until reinforcements arrive. No, the sooner we finish them off, the better. You are more than strong enough for that, Lord Shangyu. Very well then. I will do my best. I will join you, Hegemon King of Western Shu. It will be an honor to fight beside such a legendary hero. This time, I'm going to obliterate Chaldea and their master. Don't leave so much as a trace of them behind. Again, I just got to take out Shangyu's first break bar. Oh, there's Akuta. Okay. They're invincible. Ah, shit. Huh. Okay. Okay. Oh, we got another one of these things here, so... Another time where the Noah Phantasm can't hear it. Yep. Sometimes this happens. Yeah, sorry. Oh boy. I think I just beat him. Not quite yet. Hey, yeah, he's doing his Noble Phantasm, which really is... Yeah, this one I'm done, so...
乱暴だな君は。行きます。
Perfect.
こういうのどうだ。普通の夢中だな。他にやることないの？こういうのどうだ。小さな窓。いいとこ。解き放ちましょう。
Kind of feels we're not hearing the chanting, so... Maybe an overgauge, but still, I just won the battle. That's what happens when you go on the offensive. Shit. The enemy and reinforcements are almost here. I guess we're too late. That's enough. Both sides. Lay down your arms. Huh? What? We've almost got them. Stand down, Akuta. The Emperor commands it. What's the meaning of this, Your Imperial Majesty? I thought you're sending King Liao Yuta and her army as reinforcements. Indeed, I was. I ordered to find Akuta in Chaldea and lend her aid to whichever side was losing. You're kidding me. You're still being merciful to Chaldea? How many times do I have to tell you? Those barbarians are a threat to your entire empire. Ha, barbarians, is it? It seems you've forgotten what we told you. So far as we are concerned, you and Akuta are every bit as barbaric as these Chaldeans. Be that as it may, we are beginning to get a clearer picture of matters here. The quarrel between you, Akuta, and Chaldea has nothing at all to do with us. You merely hope to use our territory as a stage to sell this quarrel. And so we are taking our time to access both our allies and enemies to determine who truly benefits our empire, and who is merely a useless interloper. Well, of course, Akuta and I have been useful to you, right, Your Imperial Majesty? We came here to serve the Empire in its hour of need. Ah, yes, that reminds us. What is this dire threat our Empire faces? Is it the Chaldeans, who are stumbling like drunkards? Is it an invasion of Xianyang, my capital city? What's that, Johan Shin? No, Your Imperial Majesty. The area that poses the greatest damage to the Empire lies outside the massive, impenetrable storm. I speak, of course, of the entire rest of the world, as is now cut off from Your Imperial Majesty's blessings. And what is currently our most pressing need? That'll be gathering information about the world outside the storm. And not by taking a stranger's word, but by sending out soldiers you know and trust. Good. That is precisely what we've planned. We would expect no less from one of our most loyal retainers. Very well. How might we go about sending soldiers into the storm to investigate? I doubt the ones who came here on their own will be much help. Whatever ability let them come from their world is most likely something they can only use on themselves, and one of the more recent arrivals in our domain. The Chaldeans seem to have crossed the storm using some kind of strange vehicle. So if we had that vehicle, we should be able to do the same, theoretically. We could still need to learn how to use a vehicle, if not how it's built and how it functions. But once we do, we should serve to transport the Empire's armies to the world outside. This Emperor's good. That's a surprising amount of clarity between the big and small pictures. That's a surprising amount of clarity about the big and small pictures. There you have it. Chaldea is a much more valuable bargaining chip than either you or Akuta. If you wish to negotiate with us, you will need to offer something of far greater value. Tayan Skapan. My name's Koyanskaya! Are you sure you aren't just doing this on purpose, Your Imperial Majesty? Of course, we thought we were doing you a kindness, since you surely dislike being called by the name you deserve. Or before we forego all consideration, call you Daji, Foxwoman. Ooh, she don't like that. Pardon me. He was completely unarmed. You grossly underestimate our intelligence, as well as our Imperial Guard proficiency in Kung Fu. We are almost offended. She must have thought this was still the same China she enjoyed toying with as she pleased. Now then, let's begin our negotiations anew. Hello there, loyal soldiers and people of Chaldea. We trust you can hear our voice. Who said that? I think it's coming from Masha's shield. The voice of an empire is heard by all its citizens. No matter where they may be, it will find them just as surely as the sun's rays. In this case, we are merely focusing a magnetic beam upon that girl's shield, thereby causing it to vibrate. We can use anything in sufficient rigidity, but we assume you prefer our skulls not rattled directly. The voice of an empire. Then, does that mean... We were prepared to hand over this Koya something or other person you have been seeking so desperately. You mean Koyanskaya? Correct. However, in exchange, you must agree to let us examine that vehicle of yours in detail. Accept this condition, and we will guarantee you safe conduct in these lands. No one will dare threaten you while you are under our protection. What? Your Imperial Majesty, what are you saying? Akuta Hinako, if you had shown yourself capable of capturing that vehicle unharmed, we would not have resorted to these measures. But you have all but trumpeted our intention of leaving not so much as a trace of Chaldea behind. You fought to destroy them, Shadow Border and all, despite being fully aware that it is not what we desired. Still, the foxhole aside, you have your uses, so we will treat you accordingly. We will not punish you merely for acting against our wishes. However, know that if you insist on continuing to war toward Chaldea, you will face the White Cavalry's spears. Be warned. If my emperor commands it, I will show you no mercy. And she's not a bad servant either. What would you have me do, Master? We have little choice but to accept this. For now. Very well then, Chaldea. Now that we have all had time to calm down, what is your answer? Oh, and do note that our audio is not as crisp as our video. When you speak to us, make sure that you face directly upwards and raise your voice. For our part, just having another option for exiting this current predicament is more than we could have hoped for. Even if that option may cause other problems down the road. At this point, I believe capturing Koyan Sky and securing Antidote is far and away our highest priority. Though, of course, Ms. Solaria will need to make the final call. Huh? Not me? Let's just keep your position to ourselves for now. Besides, that voice is speaking to Solaria, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be happy about being interrupted. There's nothing more we'd like than a truce. Good. A most reasonable answer. Now then, let us be certain of one thing before we begin to make arrangements. Do you know who we are? You're Qin Shi Huang, the first Emperor of Qin. Right, you are. We thought we might need to explain all that in excruciating detail. We were relieved to see that these concerns were baseless. Very well then. Now that we know you properly, understand our ominence, let us proceed. To begin, Qin Liang Yu there has brought with her a number of engineers. You'll admit them, along with their equipment, aboard the Shadow Border. How do I know they won't break anything? Very well then, we'll have our engineers conduct their work entirely under Chaldea's supervision. However, be aware that they will not cease their investigation until they are satisfied with the results. We trust you can work together in good faith. Any other questions? Where are you speaking to us from? Yeah, and I thought I heard you say something terrifying about magnetic beams. I am speaking from directly above you, of course. Turn your head upwards, and it should be abundantly clear. Directly above us? You mean... Yes, the Great Wall. The Great Wall? But I thought that was built on the ground. The ground? Ah, you mean that thing we once used to keep the Huns away? Just how out of date is your knowledge of China? There's not been a Great Wall on the ground since our empire absorbed all other nations. Does that mean this empire no longer has any foreign enemies? Correct. This entire planet is now our domain. As such, any outside barbarians that might pose a threat would have to come from above, from beyond the sky. Naturally, we could not merely sit around waiting for such hostile visitors to arrive, or be too late to defend ourselves against them. So we decided to fortify our defenses ahead of time. This great feat of architecture was built over the course of 300 years. Perhaps you know that the original Great Wall's name meant the 10,000 li long castle. Well, this is far longer. If we were to measure it in li, it would mean 131,404 li in length. Man, where do I begin at picking that apart? You say it began in space development in the 18th century. That's as preposterous as Gandhi dropping an atomic bomb. We admit we did believe that the only possible threat to our empire might come from the stars. But we must say, even if we did not expect to face one of this particular nature, indeed, it was a great shock to see those impenetrable storm clouds, if that is even what they are, suddenly appear around this area of China. We no longer receive reports from the pass of the Great Wall that extend beyond China. The only parts that seem to function are those above China. The light of our Gloria once encompassed the entire globe, but now those accursed storm clouds have severed us from our own world, plunging us back into darkness. This is a tragedy. Without our guidance, our people will regress back to a state of chaos and violence. Thus, we must once again bring peace and harmony to the rest of the world. That's why you want the shadow border? Yes, that said, that single vehicle alone is insufficient to our purposes. We will need to produce vast quantities of them, and have greater sizes capable of carrying much larger cargo, and so we shall acquire blueprints. So that's why you want us, to let your engineers analyze it. Given that you are able to pass through a storm that permits no physical interference whatsoever, we assume you are able to pass through void space. I'm impressed. I can't believe you figured that out at a glance. We understand the theory, of course, but cannot imagine how it was actually achieved, and so we shall learn how this conveyance was constructed. Ideally, we would like to confiscate it and disassemble it to be thorough, but this would be a great inconvenience to you, would it not? So we're willing to compromise and simply work with data alone. Consider this a display of our benevolence. Oh yeah, I've been doing that on Honkai. But the world outside the storm is... yes, Akuta and that foxman told us some nonsense about Lostbelt and pruning theoretical phenomena. If you insist upon feeding us the same lies, we may lose our temper. Now would be a great time to stop talking, Solaria. There's no point in guessing why you visitors speak of the outside world in such vague generalities. We will make our own judgments once we have seen past the storm wall for ourselves. May I ask you something, Your Imperial Majesty? Did a strange tree happen to appear in this land around the same time as the storm? Specifically a tree of light so large it reaches up to the sky? What an odd question. Do such things often appear out of nowhere in your world? We see you still holding something from us, Akuta. Well, no matter. We are well aware that she has some cards yet to play. No doubt they have something to do with her differences with you. Our interest, though, lies solely in maintaining peace in our empire and reclaiming its territories. We have no intention of becoming involved in disputes between visitors, unless those disputes become something that affect us. Now then, let us be candid. You inquired about a tree of light. The answer is no. Our sight extends to all of China. We have observed nothing of the sort. All of China, huh? Since it seems like I can't stand on formalities too much, I'm just gonna ask. Are you sure you don't mind speaking with us directly like this, Your Imperial Majesty? What do you mean? Well, most people in positions like yours like to, dress up the negotiations a bit, right? They like to trot on intermediaries and representatives of the like. Usually they make a point never to meet face to face. I mean, drawing a firm line between themselves and the lesser people by refusing to speak to them directly is a big part of how nobles like to demonstrate their difference in status, right? What a strange thing to say at this point. We see, in your world, monarchs are so insecure that they refuse to even permit themselves to be be seen for fear of seeming less than perfect. Tell us, does the sun seek to hide from the public eye? Does the moon hide itself from the people's gaze? We are the Emperor, the child of heaven, the celestial existence who reigns over all our citizens. That is why we permit them audience. Just as the sun's light bathes every corner of earth, so too does our glory shine upon every person in this world who looks up to us. Still, we suppose that if the sun looked the same as anyone else, it may feel a need to put on a bit of a show to emphasize its power and status. Then you don't mind letting us see your face. Now what are you going on about? You have been gazing upon my visage for some time now. Huh? Well, we suppose you cannot see us without your naked eyes. Not with the horizon in the way, but you still have been observing us with those mechanical birds of yours, have you not? Indeed, our eyes have met a number of times. I'm sorry, I don't understand. We've been observing Xianyang from a distance, yes, but... What? You stare at us with those without realizing who it is you look upon? How insolent. We suppose you could not help. We suppose you cannot help your ignorance. Now that you know, you should be more careful. Wait, hang on. Are you telling us that thing floating above Xianyang is... Yes, that is us. This holy vessel is a result of us abandoning our earthly body, as it could only deteriorate, and abandoning all our authority within this machine in its stead. In the 2,200 years that have passed since this body has grown, this body has grown and expanded along with our nation, and now we shall never touch the ground again. Still, our grandeur is readily apparent in this form, making it easy for our people to understand. We are the first and last emperor, the immortal ruler who shall reign over this world for all of eternity. We are Qin Shi Huang. Okay. Got sink quartz and internal gears. Okay, we're going back to the landing point, or a seating point, for a fight against a rider and a saber. So that's gonna be it for this video. Until next time, this is Lowell Chan saying thank you all for watching. Take care of yourselves. Who man that ran?